Oh, there should be an invisible wall here. It only makes sense to me that there's an invisible wall. No? Or... Oh, they want you to do this and go down? Oh. Those invisible jellers? Dude, that shit sucks. I was thinking like there was stairs to like be able to go back up or something. Why is my screen black? Here, one sec. Screen black. Come on, bruh. It seems like it'd be hard starting out streaming because you need to stream to get more in balance. That's with your current job. But you can focus. One sec. It seems like it'd be hard to start out streaming because you'd need to stream to get more in balance that with your current job before you can focus on streaming. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's now harder than ever to be a streamer because more people are doing it and there's more know-how. So that's where I get a little I don't think what's going on here. This game's like all fucking up. I don't think bigger channels remember I don't think they think of that because when they remember when they stream it was hard, but what they don't get is that when they were streaming there wasn't 2 million people streaming every month. There's 2 million people doing a broadcast every month. Now not everybody's doing a continuous broadcast every day, but there's 2 million streams a month. Back in like 2011 there's not no 2 million people broadcasting a month. There wasn't even a million. So the people back then, the partners now who've been streaming for a long time, they get a little upset when people complain because they're like, well, you gotta work hard and stuff, but they don't realize that it's now harder than it's ever been, and they don't see that because it was hard for them it was hard in their time, but the hard now versus the hard then is like this. It's like big. So I don't think they put that into perspective, and they complain about. I see a lot of complaining on Twitter about people complaining about other streamers doing whatever, like smaller streamers doing whatever, but they're just trying to get noticed and do, you know, you can't blame them for trying to get noticed. But yeah, it's kind of hard. Like Dan, for instance, Dan doesn't like it when he sees people have sub goals or people do subathons all the time or often. Dan doesn't like that, and he's voiced that on Twitter. He doesn't like that. But Dan has 10,000 subs, and Dan makes like $14,000 a month off Twitch. So I don't think Dan can really talk that much about that when you have 10,000 subs. You can lose 1,000 subs, and unless you're throwing that money away at hookers and cars, you're gonna be okay. So, but for someone who only has like 100 subs, it's a bigger deal for them than it is to you. But he says stuff like, you shouldn't be doing that because you are jumping into Twitch before you're ready. Because Dan worked a full-time job and he streamed full-time for like 5 years until he quit his main job and started streaming. Which, that's true. That is true. I don't want to get killed. Don't kill me. Oh, fuck! He's mad. How do you find? I don't know. I don't really know how you filter like by region. I don't really. I don't know. I don't do that. It's not. It hasn't never. That's never been an important thing to me. Ah, fuck, another mimic. Can't kill this one. I'm gonna play it safe. Ooh, that was close. What the? This man just fucking fucking Street Fighter. That didn't kill him? What the hell? You got like no health, bro. No hidden walls and nothing. But yeah, it's kind of hard to find a balanced duck. I feel like a lot of small streamers, myself included, feel like you got to put a lot of time in. But if you want to put a lot of time in, you know, something gives. Nice. There's 2 rats, 3 rats, 4 rats. There you go. Sweet. Yeah, some streamers put it in parentheses. But that's up to the streamer, though. I know a lot of people who speak 2 languages. Alright, got it. And there's 2 more. 3 more. 3 more. I don't want to cause the giant to come and rape my anus. Hell yeah, I got that Cloud Buster sword. You better believe it. I've been using this weapon ever since Dark Souls 2. I love it. It's my favorite weapon in all of Dark Souls. I just like the whole tanky feel to it. Okay, I'm starting to think these motherfuckers are unlimited. Oh, bye. Yeah, these fuckers are out. I just don't want to wake the goddamn Cyclops. Fuck! Oh shit, I got 2 heals. Where'd that come from? God damn it. Go away. I wish they had power stance like they did in Dark Souls 2 where I could rock 2 greatswords. Because I used to do that in Dark Souls 2, but they took that out in Dark Souls 3. I don't know why. Got it. Don't wake up, don't wake up. Bye. See? Oh, no! Alright, let's see where this goes. Yeah, power stance was so cool. Oh, let's make sure we don't miss anything. Nothing. Nothing. Is this gonna open up a shortcut? Oh, we got bonfire. Ha! Yeah, it did. Check it out. Shortcut. Sick. So now I got the key. Now I have the gel key for the entire jail, so I can go through the doors that were hidden and search all the hidden doors. So, like, there's one here. Fuck off. Fuck that. Hell no, dude. That. Nah, fuck, no. Bye. No. I like my health. Hell no, I ain't gonna fight that giant. That dude kicked my ass last time. Like, he destroyed me. What? That didn't kill you? I'm gonna be lurking. Okay, no problem. No prob. It's below me. Fuck you. That's why I love this weapon. Range, man. Range. Fuck you. Get out of here. First one is the best. What, Dark Souls 1? I haven't played Dark Souls 1. It's the only one it's the only Souls game I have that I haven't played. I didn't get it until Christmas Day, so. I think Demon Souls is the best. Demon Souls is my favorite out of all of them. But it was the first one I played, so. I don't think people play Demon Souls that much. Doesn't even make sense. There we go. 100 souls? That's nothing. Yeah, I'll play them all eventually. The only one I haven't played is Dark Souls 1. I haven't streamed Demon Souls, though, because I played that before I started streaming. So I'm going to play that one, too, on stream someday. So far I've played Bloodborne, completed it, and Dark Souls 2, and completed it. I've never played a Dark Souls game before. Is the second game the best one? No. That's the one that people give the shit the most. This is the second one. I think most of it is people just agreeing with other people's opinions and not forming their own, but okay, I like Dark Souls too. Yeah, he's a stoner. I saw many hate towards Dark Souls 2. Personally, I like the second one. So everyone has their own fave. I think it's more, to be honest, I think it's more about people just jumping on a train. You know, kind of like how the internet always, hey, Happy New Year's, Trib. How was yours, man? Like how the internet always jumps on the pineapples on pizza conversation. Nobody really gives a shit about that in real life. Outside of the internet. Nobody gives a shit. We gotta be careful. Here's one of the doors. Should be not down there. It's all bandwagon stuff. Yeah, I feel like we were talking about it yesterday. How I have more respect for people who have their own opinion versus people who just agree with what other people say. And you know, and don't formulate their own opinion. They just agree with what everybody else is saying and just go. And I played Dark Souls 2, and I don't think it's anywhere near a bad game. But people say that shit's like terrible. So I think there's some kind of. Shut the fuck up. But seriously, pineapple in pizza is a thing. On pizza, it is. It is a thing. You wouldn't go. All right, I don't know how it is everywhere else in the world, but in America, in Hawaii. Okay, I lived in Hawaii. Pineapple is a pineapple. People like fucking pineapple over in Hawaii, right? They call it Hawaiian pizza outside of the fucking outside of Hawaii, but they don't call it that in Hawaii. But it wouldn't be a staple at almost every single pizza place if people didn't fucking buy it. I mean, hell, some people like anchovies on their freaking place. It's just called pizza. I don't know about that. I hardly follow any review sites or any of that, and I've played all the Dark Souls since Demon Souls, but Dark Souls 2 was the only game I lost interest with halfway through. I haven't played them all, but I like Dark Souls 2. I played Demon Souls, loved it. I haven't played Dark Souls 1. I'm going to stream that sometime after I finish this one. And then, so far I like Dark Souls 3. In the beginning I didn't like it because of the gameplay changes, but it's okay. Once I got my great sword, I started liking it. Once I didn't have my great sword, I wasn't liking it. Corn on pizza? What the fuck? Actually, that's a thing in Japan. That's a thing in Japan. But I mean, we gotta keep in fact we're only one person, and we don't make up the opinion of everybody. Like if you go to an NRS game, NetherRealm Studios, who makes Mortal Kombat and who makes Injustice 2, a lot of people in the chat are fucking shitting on Injustice 2. Yet a lot of people show up to watch the fucking game when a tournament's on. But they just bitch in the thing. And half of the bitching is always the same. It's always the same. And it makes me believe a lot of these people don't really have their own freaking opinion. Oh, he's down there. Sorry, let me catch up with this because I don't want to fuck this up right here. You haven't heard about the nightmare in sweet banana pizza? What? What? I would try that. All right, I would never buy a pineapple pizza as a main pizza. It would be my backup pizza in case I was curious. But my main pizza will always be what I want. Pepperoni, sausage, and jalapenos. That's my main thing. That's my start. That's the start. It has to have those three. Hell, you can even take sausage off. It has to have jalapenos on it. But if I was like in a mood to where I was like, you know what, I'll buy another pizza. 9 times out of 10, it won't be that. 9 times out of 10, it won't be that, but there's no way I would spend like... First choice would go to pineapple on pizza. Fuck! It would never be a first choice kind of thing. Fuck, I can't believe I missed that. Missed it again, damn it! I love pineapple, but I don't like it on pizza, mostly because I like jalapenos and chicken, and they don't mix well with pineapple. That's true. Yeah, that's a good combination too. Jalapenos and chicken? Dude, that shit's bomb. But some people don't like chicken on their pizza. Bacon and chicken pizza is fucking... You can't just dismiss an opinion because it resonates with a lot of people. If a lot of people have similar opinions about something, it's usually for a reason. I don't think a lot of people think for themselves. Look at Kim Kardashian fans. Kim Kardashian, daughter of the lawyer for OJ, gets famous by fucking a not really super famous rapper, has a sex tape, blows up on the internet, now is admired worldwide by by grown women and kids, and what's her ticket to fame? Fucking. Like, hey, that's fine, you know? Porn stars are admired, that's fine. I got no problem with it. But this lady's like influencing people around the world, and her only ticket to fame is I had sex with Ray J on a sex tape, and now I can sell makeup, shitty ass music, and sell you beauty projects. I don't think people really think too much about that shit. Don't think they care. It's popular. It's popular. Who cares? It got to be good. Got to be good, you know? It's popular. And hey, this girl had like the #1 downloaded app on the fucking iPhone for like months. For like fucking months. Hey, you like her? I don't give a shit. You like her? I don't give a shit. But I'm saying, just saying. I only respect her. It's famous for being famous. People who have done a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, it's famous for being famous. That's why I think like on Twitch. That's why I think on Twitch, like once you become famous on Twitch, it's very hard for people not to tune you out because you're famous. I mean, like those people on Twitch, once they become mega giants, it's almost always going to stay that way because they're famous. So people are going to check them out just because other people are watching them. A lot of people, we validate our opinions on stuff through other people a lot. We worry about what other people think about us a lot, or we wouldn't be so insecure. We wouldn't seek validation through other means if we weren't so insecure. We would be, I mean, getting a second opinion is not bad, and I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we wouldn't really care if we thought for ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, what other people think. A lot of people watch famous people just because they're famous. A lot of people get up in that shit just because they're famous. If a famous person has an idea and another famous person doesn't have an idea, people are most likely to side with that famous person just because the other person doesn't have famous, because the other person's not famous, because the other person doesn't have a self wealth to them. Or like, for instance, like Sonic Fox could say Captain Cold is the greatest fucking character in Injustice 2, and he has the biggest following in Injustice. Some nobody can be like, Captain Cold fucking sucks. Captain Cold does suck. But that guy has no merit to him because he's not famous. But this guy has millions of followers that will believe him. This is a problem in NRS right now, is a lot of people just suck the dick of the famous people of what they're saying and not really go in the game and lab it themselves. They just dick ride everything the famous people are talking about. And it's just bad. It's just bad. Like it's promoting like you're not thinking for yourself. Also, her ass, by the way, is, did you see it where she was on a beach? I only know this because I was on YouTube one day and I was listening to a podcast, but they were talking about one day she was on vacation and the paparazzi was, she has her own paparazzi. Paparazzi. But there was normal paparazzi taking photos of her ass. And then her ass that they took photos of was very different than the photos that her paparazzi took photos of. Because the ones her paparazzi took photos of were photoshopped to shit. Apparently, that crap is all fake. And it's like, it's like all like cellulite to death and everything. So, and she was pissed. She's pissed because they found out the truth. But I'm saying, the big difference between and fame is people need to remember that. Yes, there's a big difference. I mean, just because I agree with you. I mean, there is a point where a lot of people, I do agree with you. I mean, like when people do have something, there's usually a reason. But in like some reasons, a lot of people don't really think for themselves. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. A lot of people were blaming Konami for the failure of Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, that was pissing me off. A lot of people were blaming Konami outright for everything. Like, everything. Like, Kojima had no Kojima didn't even, like, work on the game at all. They blamed everything on the failure of Metal Gear Solid 5 for Konami. And they did that because they liked 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you couldn't make a bad game in their eyes. So it was all Konami's fault. Which is like, how naive can you be? That's not how creativity works in like art. Like, his creative choices are what failed you. It was a combination of both, but a lot of fans were just dick riding the whole Konami is the one to blame. Kojima can never make a bad game. When history has shown us that people who have made very good like art, like very good things, like very good art, like Blade Runner, what's the guy's name? I forget the guy's. Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott made Blade Runner. Ridley Scott made Alien. Great movies that people will remember forever. They're in the archives of movie history. Ridley Scott goes on to make fucking Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, that piece of shit movie. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. He's known for making great shit, so he makes an okay movie that people, it's not good. Exodus and Kings? Flopped. Every great makes bad movies. They make bad things. And it's okay. Because they're not perfect. They're not messiahs. But Kojima fans were sucking that pole, man. Like, I was getting tired of hearing that shit. Like, allow the man to fail. Allow the man to be human. Wasn't it Kojima that threw Konami under the bus? What ended up happening was his game was becoming too expensive. That's what it boiled down to. He didn't want to make Metal Gear Solid 5. He didn't want to make Metal Gear Solid 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure about Peace Walker. I actually haven't heard any beef about Peace Walker. But he didn't want to make them. But he really didn't want to make 5. So there's already there's a documentary out about Metal Gear Solid 4 where you can find him saying during Metal Gear Solid 4 it was like the worst time of his life. He didn't want to make the game. I don't know why he just didn't say no. Maybe Japan's business works a different way that we just don't understand in the Western world. But He didn't want to make the game. So there's already a rift between them. And then eventually it got to the point to where Metal Gear Solid 5 was becoming so goddamn expensive that Konami was not going to make their money back. They're a business. They want to make money. They were going to have to sell like an absurd amount of copies of that game. And single-player games do not sell usually as well as multiplayer games because the perceived lack of replay value. Even Metal Gear Solid games. They sell about 10. It's very like God of War. God of War is hailed as like not having a bad game, but as a series as a whole, they've only sold like 25 million copies. Compared that shit to like, I don't know, Call of Duty, which is unfair, but that shit sells mega copies. GTA, mega copies. Not many games sell that many copies, which are still popular. Like MGS is a popular game, but it still doesn't sell like GTA. So Konami was worried that they were gonna not make their money back. The game was becoming really fucking expensive. And like typical Kojima, it was going over budget, and it was going past his promised expectant dates. And if it's anything like Western business, you probably have shareholders that invested in your company and your project to see it finish. And those guys don't give a shit about butts. They want that shit done when it's done, because they gave you money. They want results. And if it's like that, then it makes sense why they gave them the boot, because for the future of Konami, they could lose those people funding their future projects, and that could have a bad standing on their company as a whole. So they got rid of the guy. A pretty shitty way, and then they prevented him from picking up a award, which didn't make any sense. And he did make them their most successful game for the longest period of time. It's just a bad situation. I think I've checked this entire thing. I'm kind of fucking flustered.